What does a nation do when the two-year piece is 22%? I mean, any given nation, I mean, in our textbooks, you don't go forward, do you?
Well, it's difficult. You have to take pretty aggressive actions normally.
Where's Mr. Erdogan on this? Where's he this morning on this?
It's hard to tell, and I think that's part of the reason you have such a large risk premium in those assets, because not only do we not know, what he's thinking at this point in time, but also we don't know what the other players in the bigger game, for example, with respect to US sanctions, are thinking either.
Right.
So that's why you have such a large risk premium. If you then add in things like very high inflation, it doesn't make for a good mix.
It's almost a vicious cycle. One of the vicious cycles is doom and gloom. Russia here, Argentina, Turkey, on and on. Maybe the president as well, and yet pros like you say used to have to participate in this process. How do you push against gloom people who say, Turkey, OMG? How do you push against them?
Well, sometimes it's not necessarily a good idea to push against that view. It's clear right now that the market is very underweight in Turkish assets, but the reasons to be in that position are many. So you do need to see, I think, at least some sign of a move in the right direction, whether that's in terms of being more compliant on international relations issues like the pasta issue, or on the other hand, whether it's to do more orthodox monetary policy like hike rates a lot. One of these things, preferably both, have to move in the right direction before you squeeze people back into that market. Without that, it's very hard to make a good case for this currency.
Good morning, Shahab from London. So what would it take for you to actually, turn bullish, or at least turn positive on Turkey?
I think there's a couple of things. Firstly, any sign of an improvement in the geopolitical climate, specifically with respect to relations with the US, that would be obviously very helpful. But even more than that, frankly, signs of more orthodox policy, especially on the monetary front, where the market has been disappointed by what appears to be a lack of credibility when it comes to a capacity to hike rates sufficiently to stabilize the currency. So that would be, obviously, from a technocratic perspective, the best case outcome. Rate hikes, or a promise of rate hikes, sufficient to stabilize the currency.